Hello and welcome to another edition of the Bastard Review. This time I'm going back a little bit in time and taking a look at ECW's Anarchy Rulz 99. This event took place September 19th, 1999 in the Odeum Sports and Expo Center in Villa Park, Illinois. We open up the night with Lance Storm taking on Jerry Lynn in a very good back and forth match. They start off with some really great chain wrestling, and around the 10-minute mark, they go through a nice series of near falls that really had the crowd riling. All through the summer, Lance and Just Incredible have been getting in Jerry's way of winning the television title from RVD, and this match was a direct result of that interference. Now, despite wrestling with some bruised ribs, Jerry Lynn manages to get in some really great moves. One of which is when he goes high risk, jumping off the top ropes into a plancha onto Lance outside the ring. He's got his ribs taped up, but he had to have been in a serious amount of pain. My one gripe would be that the match ends way too quickly. Lance kicks Jerry in the abdomen and then pulls him into a schoolboy when Jerry bends over. It was just too simple of a move to end the match with. But I've got to commend Jerry for toughing through the pain that he was probably in and pulling a really good match out of the 15 minutes they were given. Another gripe that I have is that they went nowhere after this match. There was no definitive match to end the feud, and that's just disappointing. Still, it's a great way to start the show, and I was very entertained. I'm giving this an 8 out of 10. After that, we had a convoluted mess that I'm not going to go into that involved Simon Diamonds, Jazz, Nova, Chris Chetty, and Tony DeVito that culminated in a match between all four men with Jazz rooting on Nova and Chetty. Chetty got injured early in the match, and then there was a stupid ending involving Roadkill Danny Doring coming out and attacking Nova. It was just stupid. It was a stupid match. I hated the ending. Post-match, chaos ensues where a whole bunch of people come down to the ring and start attacking each other. And then New Jack makes an appearance and comes down and attacks just about everybody. Just a complete waste of time, and if it was booked to end that way, I'm horribly disappointed. I'm giving this a 2 out of 10. After that, we have the first of 2 three-way dances of the night. Super Crazy taking on Tajiri and Little Guido. For some odd reason, around this time, ECW was doing a lot of three-way dances, which, while entertaining, just feels like too much. You should save them for special events, they should mean something, and they should definitely be for a title. That being said, this was still an entertaining match. They had 2 spots where they went out into the crowd, which I thought was a little too much. They should have only had 1 diving spot into the crowd, and then went back into the ring and stayed there. This match flowed a little better than the one at November to Remember. This was a little more quick-paced. I think it was because Lynn was still getting over the injuries that he had been accumulating over the months. So he kind of slowed that match down. This one was more quick-paced. There was a lot going on, and I was really entertained watching it. It would mean so much more if this were for a title, but it was a solid match. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. After that, we have Just Incredible taking on Sabu in a painful-looking hardcore match. This was an entertaining match overall. Sabu was working injured, but he doesn't care. You know, he's going to do whatever he wants to do, regardless of whether his body is in tip-top condition or not. Both men have some history with each other, but the match kind of feels just thrown together, especially since there's no fallout from this match. But it's a little more understandable because, like I said, Sabu isn't working 100% here. It's more a match about getting Justin over and elevating him a little more. And I can't fault Paul for booking it that way. Just a decent one-off match. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. Up next, what starts out as a singles match turns into a three-way dance when Taz defends his ECW World Heavyweight title against not only Masato Tanaka, but Mike Awesome as well. This match is pretty hit or miss with me. I like how they introduced Mike into the match, but I have to question why Masato gets a title shot. This is the first time we've seen him since '98, I believe. And here he's getting a title shot against Taz. I realize he's the FMW champion at this point, but one would think that there would be someone in ECW who is more deserving of the title shot. I'd be okay with this if Masato had a number one contenders match against someone on hardcore television, but if they did, Joey Styles didn't mention it, so I'm not really buying him as a viable contender for the title. Another gripe that I have is I think it should have gone on for longer than it did. It was probably 13 to 15 minutes long. I think it should have been 20 to 25 minutes. And Taz was only in the match for maybe 2 minutes before he got pinned. To me, it made Taz look weak, and he should have been booked better in the match. I would have kept him in for at least 10 minutes, and then he gets pinned. From there was the type of match that you've come to expect from Tanaka and Awesome. Mike does a really nice top rope Awesome bomb through a table, and Tanaka gives Awesome a really nice looking somersault stunner. An okay title match, but it's got too many things going against it. I have to give it a 7 out of 10. After that, Raven and Tommy Dreamer defend their ECW World Tag Team titles against Rhino and Steve Corino. Now, this was originally supposed to be the Insane Clown Posse, but they decided to no-show, and Steve and Rhino filled in their place. The match starts off with Tommy in the ring being attacked by Rhino, Steve, and Jack Victory, with Raven nowhere to be found. He eventually comes out and takes Rhino down with a DDT, which is a mistake in my opinion. I'm not really buying Raven taking out someone like Rhino with one simple move. It's a horribly short match, and it doesn't even feel like a title match. This should have been on hardcore television. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10. Up next, we have Axel Rotten in the ring, and he makes a direct challenge to Mike Awesome for the title, but he gets interrupted by the Impact players. They come down with their third teammate, Johnny Smith, and attack! Balls Mahoney and Spike Dudley come down to save the day, and Balls lays out Johnny Smith with a chair shot. And since Johnny was going to challenge RVD for the TV title, Balls replaces him, and finally, we get our main event. Balls Mahoney taking on Rob Van Dam for the ECW World Television title. This was a surprisingly entertaining match. Yeah, they had all the chair swinging foolishness, but Balls actually brought his A game and had some really great wrestling moves here. My only gripe, and it's the gripe that I usually have for these matches, is that there's no build-up. If they announced this at the beginning of the show, had promos throughout the night from both men, and just made it what a main event should be, it would be getting a great rating. A solid match, but I gotta give this an 8 out of 10. Overall, ECW's Anarchy Rulz 99 is unfortunately a barely above average show. You've got 3 good matches, 2 decent ones, but they're weighed down by this crap that shouldn't be on this pay-per-view. ECW compilists will want this for their collection, but if you're just a casual fan, there's a few things here worth checking out, but there are a few things that you might want to skip through. I'm giving this a 6 out of 10. Thank you for listening. Please tune in again to another Bastard review when I review another wrestling DVD in my collection, or anything else that crosses my path.